Hey guys, Paul Newman with the Champions Tour. I want to talk about something that you've heard tons and tons about. Everybody's heard so much about the Minn Kota Ultrex. This by far, hands down, is the best built trolling motor I've ever seen. It's the engineering, the fabrication, the strength, it holds up to abuse. But what I want to talk about is, like everything, no matter how well it's built, us as tournament anglers know how to destroy stuff. I just want to talk about maintenance of a trolling motor, how to take care of it, make sure it is in tip-top shape. The number one thing on a Minn Kota trolling motor that I can't recommend stronger than anything else is the belt that comes with the trolling motor. When the trolling motor is installed on the boat, the belt should be installed with it. Use this belt, okay? This is here that if you hit an extremely rough wave or rough water, it keeps the trolling motor down and stowed. But the other reason to use this frequently is that when you're just day-to-day fishing and running around, if it's not belted, the trolling motor can wiggle a little bit. And over a year, 2 years, or 3 years of use of this trolling motor, the bushings and the hinges can start to loosen up. If you use your belt frequently, you're just going to keep the components lasting longer. One tip, I like to mount my belt so the loop is on this side. Therefore, when I'm fishing, I can take my belt, fold it over, hide it down under my graph so it's not in my way. But use the belt, guys. It's going to make things last much longer. Some of the pins and bushings, keep an eye on your screws. Keep a toolbox in the boat, maybe before every tournament or once a month. Go through the pins and the bushings, make sure the screws are tight, everything's Loctited from the factory. You can take these side covers off quick and easy. There's some screws behind here. Just double check it. It's a great idea to go through not just your trolling motor, but your entire boat every so often. Just make sure the screws are tight. Be careful not to over tighten. If you do it too often, you'll loosen them up worse. But just keep an eye on things. It's going to prevent a lot of problems on the water. And then, of course, we talked about the belt, keeping it tight. On this side of the boat, we've got the bounce buster. We can take a look at that, but make sure that this is adjusted properly. The bounce buster keeps the trolling motor from really slapping around and wearing out the bushings. If you have a lot of play here, or if the trolling motor will come down, your bounce buster needs to be adjusted a little bit. The last tip I want to talk about on the trolling motor, it's something that's overlooked a lot, is on the prop. So let's walk around and take a look at the prop. So behind every Minn Kota prop is a shear pin, okay? I'm gonna take a 9/16 wrench. This guy comes off really easy. You can just hold the prop with one hand. Nylon lock nut. But these, like I said, these trolling motors take so much abuse. Oftentimes we're hitting rocks, woods, or stumps with our props. Well, what can happen is we pull the nut off, take the prop off. So, as you can see, I've got a wad of grass in here, okay? You want to clean this up. So periodically take your prop off, clean this up, or any fishing line, because this mess can get into your seals and wear them out. But here is our shear pin, okay? This is here, very importantly, being a shear pin that if you hit something hard enough, this will break and you won't bend your prop shaft. But what happens oftentimes is you will hit something hard enough to bend this shear pin, but you're not actually going to break it. So this pin might be sitting in your shaft, okay, and it might be bent a little bit, okay? Well, what happens oftentimes is that shear pin sits in here. If that's bent, it'll make the prop wobble, and you're actually going to feel a vibration, and your trolling motor is going to be really noisy. I swear 9 times out of 10, if your trolling motor is noisy and the prop's vibrating, the shear pin is bent. I always keep 3 or 4 of these in my boat as spares. It takes 1 wrench and about 30 seconds to change it out, but this is huge on your maintenance of your trolling motor so you don't bend the shaft and wear out the motor and the trolling motor.